Hello and welcome to Beginning Latin 4. For our lesson today, we're going to be covering the chapter 24 and reviewing all of our homework. And that wasn't a good start at all. No, it's not chapter 24. We're going to do 7. Actually, we'll do 3. Okay. Hello and welcome to Beginning Latin 3. Today's lesson will be a review of chapter 23 and checking our homework, and then we will take a look at chapter 24. So let's begin in nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Pater noster, qui es in caeli, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie. Et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. So, salve, quid agis? I hope you just said sum bene or sum optime. That means I'm doing great. Let's start by taking a look at page 187, Seeking Domum, part 18. And I will read the answers to you, and I'll read the story about Julia and Marcus. The giant hooded figure dumped Marcus and Julia onto a mound of ferns, none too gently. Oof, Julia grunted. Hey, that wasn't very, Julia started to say, cum voce magna, with a great voice. A hand shoved a cloth rag into os Juliae, Julia's mouth, the mouth of Julia. Latrones, the robbers, pulled back their hoods and addressed Marcus. Are you the servus, slave of this loud and abusive taskmaster? Another latro robber chimed in. Does she treat you badly all the time? Would you like to have your freedom, you servus, slave? Asked the primus latro, the first robber. Marcus didn't know what to say. Non sum servus eus. I am not her slave. Then he said quietly, Hic puella est amica mihi. This girl is my friend. Dic, speak up. Boy, the latro robber said, this is your chance to tell us the veritas, the truth of the matter. Ea, she, will harm you no longer. Tu es inter amicos. You are among friends who are trying to throw off the oppression of the Rex, the king, John and his puppet, the sheriff. Julia's oculi eyes shot open wide, and she mumbled desperate dicere to say something. No, non sum servus eus. I am not her slave, Marcus said firmly. Dico veritatem. I speak the truth. Oh my. The latro magnus, the big giant robber, turned to the dux, the leader. Credis ei? Do you believe him? Robert? Robert nodded and turned to Julia. My humble apologies, domina mea. My lady, he said. He smiled as he removed Julia's gag from her mouth. We thought you were possibly of the noble class who needed to be lightened of your burden as slaveholder. Please forgive me. Then glancing toward Marcus, he said, Ille amicus timorem non habet. That friend does not have fear. Marcus told the fabula story of the shipwreck and the many adventures they had along their long journey to London. You are free, ire, to go, said Robert. He turned to the giant robber. Please escort eos, them, to the edge of the Silva forest. Will you, little John? All right, very good. So you've been studying in your grammar lesson, ille, illa, for he and she. And we reviewed that a little bit in our last chapter. Now, let me share my screen just for a moment. Ile and ila are the origin of the definite articles words for the, el, and la in Spanish. Okay, ile and ila are the origin of the definite articles el, masculine, of course, and la, feminine in Spanish. And then let's take a look at another language in French, right? They are the origin of il for masculine articles and la in French for feminine. And in Italian, il and la, as well as the plural form in all these languages. And let me just make one correction, sorry. In French, sorry, it's le for masculine and la for feminine. Il and la for the Spanish. So let's put a box around all of those Romance languages, of course. Latin is the origin of those Romance languages. There are many roots and derivatives in French and Italian and Spanish, which come directly from the Latin ile and illa, demonstrative pronouns. Other Romance languages have similar derivatives. Why? Oh, thanks for asking. In medieval times, people started using ile, illa, and illud informally as definite articles, since Latin did not originally have a distinction between the specific thing and a specific thing. They would say that thing instead, like illa res. Eventually, it stopped carrying any specific emphasis, and as regional variants of Latin evolved into separate languages, people began shortening the words to just parts that were necessary to be able to tell the grammatical genders apart. So there you go. Thanks for asking. Okay, take a look at your page 190. I'll give you the answers to the memory worksheet. Mons mountain, nox night, dens tooth, uxor wife, vestis clothing garment, victor victor, lux light, vox voce, labor labor work, sol sun, ignavus cowardly, horrendus horrendous, magnus large great, mirus strange wonderful, latus broad, ile illa illud that and those. And the forms of ile illa illud are ile illa illud, ilius ilius ilius, ili ili ili, ilum illam illud, ilo illa ilo. Plural forms: ili, ile, illa, illorum, illarum, illorum, ilis, 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 ilos, ilas, illa, ilis, ilis, ilis. And now we're at the bottom of page 190 in the grammar section. He sees is in the simple present. I do love, present emphatic, I do love or I do love. You are walking, present progressive with the ing ending. All three of these forms should use the Latin present tense if you're trying to translate from English to Latin. All right, and the translation worksheet. Simple present, he loves. Present progressive, he is loving. Present emphatic, he does love. And let's do the stop share on the screen. First conjugation for nego, I deny. Present progressive, I am denying. Present emphatic, I do deny. Oh, and now edificus. Simple present, you build. Present progressive, you are building. And present emphatic, you do build. And finally, declaramus. Simple present is we declare. Present progressive, we are declaring. And present emphatic, we do declare. I'm sure our constitutional fathers used that one. Okay, take a look at your activity worksheet. And I want to be certain that I did actually assign to you page 192. And so I'm just going to take a quick peek at our homework assignment 192. Yes, I did ask you to complete the top half of the page. So I'm going to share that with you. The first one is great love, and we would say that amor magnus. Genitive form, amoris magni. Dative form, amori magno. Accusative form, amorem magnum. And ablative form, amore magno. Remember, the endings don't necessarily have to be the same, but the gender and the number have to be the same. So the endings will likely be different much of the time. Good father, nominative case, pater bonus. Genitive, patris boni. Dative, patri bono. Accusative, patrem bonum. And ablative, patre bono. Plural for great love, amores magni. Genitive plural, amorum magnorum. Dative, amoribus magnis. Accusative, amores magnos. Ablative, amoribus magnis. And for good father in the plural, patres boni, patrum bonorum, patribus bonis, patres bonus, os, patribus bonis, just like the dative form. Dative and accusative are the same. Okay, we will turn now to the quiz. Let's check the quiz. Corrections for the quiz. Letter A, new and review vocabulary. Ile, illa, elud, that or those. Uxor, uxoris, wife. Vestis, vestis, clothing or garment. Lux, lucis is light. Nox, noctis, night. Dens, dentis, tooth. Vox, vocis, voice. Labor, laboris, labor, work. By the way, I just read an article about Michigan's oldest woman. In fact, she was one of the oldest people in the whole country. She died this week, 114 years old. And she said the key to long life was hard work. I think she grew up on a farm with about 114 acres, and she loved to garden, and she continued to work. And when she was young, her friends would come over and she would put them to work. So labor omnia vincit. Work conquers all, right? It does. Yeah, and it helps you to have a very long life. All right, mons, montis, mountain. Sol, solis, sun. Victor, victoris, victor. And ignavus is cowardly. Magnus large or great. Latusa broad. Some swimmers that I know are very broad. Mirus is strange and wonderful. And horrendus is horrendous. The review vocab, luna, lune is moon, luxuria, luxuriae, luxury or extravagance, memoria, memoriae, memory. What is opera, opere? Oh, effort or services. And finally, legatus e is a deputy or lieutenant, which is a derivative. Now on the following page, there is one more page to the quiz. The chant, fill in the blanks, is ile, illa, illud, ilius, 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 ili, 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 illum, illam, illud, illo, illa, illo, ili, ile, illa in the plural, illorum, illarum, illorum in the plural, genitive. The dative is ilis, 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 which means the ablative will be the same. Accusative is ilos, ilas, illa, and ablative is ilis, ilis, ilis. Okay, what would you call in the grammar section? How would you classify he sees? Simple present, present emphatic, or present progressive? You are right, simple present. I do love, present emphatic. You are walking, present progressive. All three of these forms should use the Latin present tense. And what is the difference between hic and ille? Hic means this, and ille means that, over there. All right, wonderful. Now, we will take a look at chapter 24. How'd you do on the quiz, by the way? I hope you did well. I'm sure you did. Chapter 24, we're taking a look at the demonstrative pronoun esté, está, estud. And what you're going to notice is esté, está, estud has 30 forms, right? 15 in the singular and 15 in the plural. And esté, está, estud, it means like that or those. So that picture on my table is of my daughter and myself in the winter wonderland, Michigan. Those trees over there are starting to become green. Okay, so we're going to use those demonstrative pronouns. And of course, there are all the cases included. So that's why there are so many forms. In English, we just say that, these, those, this. We don't have very many demonstrative pronouns. But because Latin must have agreement in gender and number with whatever the demonstrative pronoun is referring to, whichever noun it's referring to, it has to have all those different forms, which that's not so bad to memorize them. All right, our new vocabulary, esté, está, estud, that is the demonstrative pronoun. That's how it's classified, those 30 forms. Volar, volare, volavi, volatum is to fly. Pecco, peccare, peccavi, peccatum is to sin or make a mistake. Iurio, iurare, iuravi, iuratum is to take an oath. And spelled with the J, silent J, it's the ecclesial spelling, ecclesiastical spelling, which we're learning. Damno, damnare, damnavi, damnatu, just what you thought it was, right? Damnation, to condemn or punish. Concilio, conciliare, concilio, pardon me, conciliare, conciliavi, conciliatum, to bring together or unite. I was thinking of conciliatory, which is our English derivative, but in Latin, we want to pronounce the CI and the CE with the ch sound, right? Judex, judicis, judge, potestas, potestatis, power, auctoritas, auctoritatis, influence or authority, auctor, auctoris, ancestor, originator, supporter, and lex legis is a law or contract. Okay, and then we have some review vocabulary there as well. So this week, please make your flashcards for all of your new demonstrative pronouns, for that and those. Make your flashcards for your new vocabulary words, and be sure to practice 15 minutes, maybe a day, until you have those mastered. Seeking Domum, part 19. What is going to happen to Julia and Marcus next? They're always finding trouble, or trouble is always finding them. They're on their way to London, and they are trying to find their relatives. All right. In Latin, we have studied the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense, of course, is a past tense. And I'm looking at page 198, if you'd like to follow along. It's used to describe what? A past action that is repeating or continuing in the past. It's not a one and done. It's not all over, right? And so it is an ongoing, progressive, habitual, or incomplete past tense. As the name implies, the Latin imperfect tense describes an action that is not perfect, which means it hasn't been completed yet, right? Study the chart on page 198, okay? You're going to see ambulo, I walk, I am walking, I do walk. In the imperfect, you would say ambulabam, ambulabam. Sto is I stand, I am standing, I do stand, but stabam is I was standing. And there's a famous song which is sung at Lent, during Lent before Easter, Stabat Mater, the mother standing, and it's referring to Mary at the foot of the cross. All right, so I would like you to study page 198, the grammar lesson on the English present progressive. In English, we say I am walking, right? I am walking, which means I'm not done yet. It's not in the past. It's in the present, but it's an action that is still ongoing. In the English past progressive, we say I was walking for a period of time, like when I was in college and I had a home close to campus, I was walking to school each day. Okay. The grammar lesson also focuses on translating the Latin future tense. Now you've learned the future tense already. There are only two options for the Latin future tense, since there is no future emphatic form in English. Thus, you may say for translating amo, or I'm sorry, amabo, future tense, amabo, I will love, or I will love, or I will be loving. Two choices. All right, so read up on the translation of the Latin future tense. And then you're also going to read a tiny little paragraph at the bottom of page 199. The last demonstrative pronoun, iste, esta, estud. So it's a little bit different than ile, illa, illud. Ile, illa, illud, and iste, esta, estud. Estud means that, but there's a slight little difference between the two of them. Oh, good question. You want to know what the difference is. Okay, iste means that thing near you. Let's say this, the cat or the dog or one of your house pets is sitting near you. So you could say that pet near you. Whereas ile means that domestic pet over there. So if you want to represent something close, iste, something further away, ile. And you can read more about it on page 199. And then there's the memory worksheet. If you'd like to take the memory worksheet and do that exercise before the quiz, that would be helpful. And finally, there's a small translation worksheet page. It's just one page. And I think it would be good for you to do that page before you take the quiz. And the page is on the present imperfect future tenses, and the book is giving you 6 different verbs to translate what would the English form be relative to the Latin form. So that's it. And if you would do the quiz, it is a 3-page quiz, but the 3rd page is really just for fun. If you take a look at the 3rd page of the quiz, it's a beautiful picture of Harlech Castle from the 19th century. And then there's a floor plan of the castle. And basically the quiz is just to take a look at the floor plan and the print and also the photograph and find a map of a hill in your area and plan how would you lay out your castle on top. And lucky you, California has a lot of beautiful hills and mountains, and so you'll have a great opportunity to be able to do that. No assignment in Libellus de Historia, no assignment in Famous Men of Rome. We're just going to stick with the text from now on so that we can wrap up the year before your summer camp begins. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, don't forget, you can email me. All right, take care. Vale.